Hey everyone, and welcome to Planet Coaster, and welcome to a B&M inverted coaster build, including station and including a direct comparison to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. If you haven't seen the build, you find this to the top right now. This is where I built yesterday the same coaster in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 in order to have a direct comparison. Now, another thing, just as always at the beginning of the episode, if you like the content and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That helps me out a lot, and that makes sure that you guys can always have the wonderful content on this channel. Now, for those of you who are interested in the future of my channel, should definitely stick with me, because around the center of the video we are going to talk about what's going on next on the channel. There will be some changes, some good ones I might say, but I will let you know there. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about this build. Now, first off, I really want to know from you guys which is your kind of entry point to the roller coaster world. I really, when I was playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 lately, I recognized immediately the nostalgia in me. I just, I played this game quite a lot at the very beginning of this game. I'm going to talk a little bit about the fact that this really wasn't my home. My home was Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, especially Evergreen Gardens in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 is, I think, the most defining level for me, or a park for me, that really brought me into coasters and into theme parks in general. But I really want to know from you guys, what is your first game, or the first touch point you had with coasters and theme parks, and why do you like it? I would really be super curious what you guys have to say, so please let me know in the comments down below what was your entry point to the roller coaster world, and then again, what is your most favorite roller coaster tycoon game, I want to say, but no, roller coaster related game or theme park game that you ever played or still play. Now, this would be very, very, very interesting to know. Now, let's talk about this specific build over here. Now, if you guys have seen yesterday's build in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, then you might have seen that I went for a pretty classy normal B&M inverted coaster ride. It is kind of a mishmash of Gen 1 and 2, even though it's more, related to Gen 1, I would say, of the B&M inverted ones. The classical pre-drop and just very standardized elements with the loop and some half loops and inline twists. However, my interpretation was a bit more free, if you will, to leave me some room also for Planet Coaster. I had this already in mind while I was building this. I mean, you can say it's not the most perfect coaster. There are some little bits about it that you maybe wouldn't do like in real life. I do know that. Like, for example, I just recognized when I was building this here in Planet Coaster that the first inline twist, which is after this left-hander over here, which goes a little bit down and up again, usually should have rotated into the other direction. So basically what we have like a left turn that goes up, twists to 180 degrees, so you are basically upside down, and what the twist does then, it just curls back to the right hand side, so you kind of breaks the actual movement and just turns it back into the other direction, which in two ways makes no sense. So first of all, it just kind of breaks the overall energy of the coaster, because it actually from the energy it would be more likely to turn to the left further, and so just to do like a full inversion, and it kind of looks a little bit weird in the OnRide anyways. But since I've done that for Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and made this mistake with the limited amount of pieces we have in there, I just decided to, well, really go with the same over here. And yeah, it's kind of a little bit of an issue, but I think it's not too bad. And at the end of the day, I also didn't spend too many hours smoothing out this coaster. Like, it's fairly decent, it's okay, all these coaster nerds out there of you will still be sitting in front of your keyboard and maybe even biting into it at some point, but honestly, and this is already like a little bit of a segue into the future of my channel, I just don't really have the time to go that little extra mile in here, and I will briefly talk about why. I kind of realized that this game, Planet Coaster, has a lot of strength, but the coaster builder isn't the biggest. Okay, I don't say it's a weakness, not at all. I'm not, I know that there are a lot of people out there who complain constantly about this builder, and I do agree that this has a lot of potential to be improved, but I still like this coaster builder a lot. I think you can do a lot, and I also enjoy this because I'm not like so crazy into every single smoothing like others are, so I'm still happy with a very decent coaster that is enjoyable to ride. I mean, yes, my perception has changed from the beginning to now, and I do also see a lot of issues, way more than I've seen them in the past, simply because I got into it a bit more and understand. But I think just to make sure that I enjoy the game, I need to finish a build quicker than I did in the past. And this is what I want to do with many of my builds in the future. I think coming back to Planet Coaster now with a very specific task in my mind was the best feeling in months. I had a hard time getting back into Planet Coaster a lot of times. I tried making a series on it, I think 6 times since Planet Zoo came out. I really always wanted to go back, but there are so many things that kept me from doing it. I have so many unfinished little bits in this game, you can't even imagine. I could show you, but they're like, I never released them. There's just so much I did in the past, but it never worked out for me. And the main reason was that I was going way too detailed, which is kind of what I do. But yeah, with this build in mind here, I really enjoyed this because it was in a relatively, arguably good amount of time doable. I mean, it was like, I think 3.5, 4 hours for the entire build, including smoothing and stuff, which I haven't included in the time lapse. And I think the build itself is fairly cool. It's good. I mean, yes, it does lack a lot of realism aspects. We don't have a switch track, and you know, there's like no shop or whatever in this closed environment. There's no, I don't know, restaurant. There's no gift shop at the exit of the coaster. Like all these kind of little things you could do to go that extra mile. But I've done that, you know. I've done this multiple times in this game, and at this point, I think I just want to enjoy. I just want to enjoy the game as it is and as it was meant to be. And so I can really imagine doing a few coasters exactly like this one, you know, just building the coaster, make it somewhat good and flowing and really nice, and then just build a nice station building, maybe sometimes just build a little environment, a lake, a bit of nature, and then that's it. Just roll with it, you know, just making sure that you have like an enjoyable kind of one-off episode building a coaster. And that, you know, could actually be like a little bit of a community thing that you guys are mainly voting on what it is. And, you know, I won't promise any amount of coasters. Maybe I do 1 a month, maybe I do 2, maybe I do 1 every 2 months. I don't know, you know, just roll with it, just having fun, and just enjoying what we do over here and just enjoying this game. And I think, to be fair, we forgot how good Planet Coaster is over the time, because also me, I got tired of it at some point, and now the energy is a bit back, and I really enjoyed this build so much. And you know, it needed Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 to be re-released to make me actually feel that Planet Coaster is my home when it comes to theme park games. And yeah, I don't know, it felt also so much more natural now to come back, because I hadn't Zoo in my mind, and I hadn't, you know, when I was building this, I haven't played Planet Zoo for like over 2 weeks. No, that's not true. Actually, I streamed once, but you know, if you don't use the stream, or if you don't count as in, I have like a good 1.5 weeks where I haven't even played Planet Zoo, and this helped so much because you don't have this direct comparison. You stop comparing it all the time, and that helped a lot. However, I want to talk about one thing right now in a direct comparison between Zoo and Coaster. Now, it definitely is something that I didn't really think about too much at the beginning, but it was made so obvious now as I was switching between the two games. Now, as I'm recording, I went back to Zoo already yesterday, and they changed one thing to the better in Zoo that has nothing to do with the actual game content. It has to do with the UI and this structure of the menu. Now, in Planet Coaster, we have different tabs. We have facilities, we have shops and buildings, we have scenery, and we have a building tab. And this is absolutely confusing, because I know, you know, looking at the history of Planet Coaster makes sense, because where they were coming from, the building was always meant to be straight off just for pure building and shells, you know, simply piece by piece for like making a coaster building or making a shop building. And then the scenery was always meant to enrich, so to say, the coaster experience, okay? So it made sense to separate those two from each other. However, the way how people play the game and the way how people actually started to use this as a sandbox and a toolbox, this basically meant that the separation of those two things in two different categories and even two different tabs made that you have a constant switch. You can't use the search function really well. You can't really use the copy paste option too well, because there was a time, I mean it's fixed now, but there was a time where you couldn't even have those two things in one building. You had to use a little trick to get it into one building, and then you always had to use the building as like the foundation, and groups weren't the thing. So all these knowledge was brought into Planet Zoo, and now you have this one tab which is building, and every single building piece that you can have is in there. And then you have another thing which is called nature, and that makes sense because nature was still, as you can see, part of the scenery, which then again also led to the fact that you have within the scenery there is a subcategory which is nature, which then again has a subcategory which has planters, and it's just like when you look at it now, it's super confusing. And it really gave me a struggle building this. I was constantly searching for stuff because I still remember the names, how the items were called, but I forgot in which category they were, if they were in scenery or if they were in building. And so it really took a while until I got the hang of it again and where the pieces were. And this is one of the biggest improvements of Planet Zoo, that you have this one folder building, and then you can just have everything in there as you go, as you need it. And I really hope that if there will be a future update or a future successor of Planet Zoo, that this will be done the same way, because that is ridiculously faster and better in Planet Zoo with this. And then I think the second notable thing is the overall nature itself. I can't stress enough how incredibly gorgeous the foliage in Zoo looks, and how, well, basic it looks in here. The anti-aliasing is somehow okay, I guess, at max, and I was trying a lot with like ReShade, but I didn't really get a good setting. It really appears to be a bit, of a weakness, because the coaster looks awesome, the scenery looks awesome, the lighting in this game is also still okay, like really good. I mean, Zoo lighting is better, but still this is a good lighting engine, even though it's a bit harsh at points, but still it looks good, and everything is sharp, everything is like full resolution, high HD and stuff. But then again, the foliage really doesn't cope with it too well, except you have a depth of field. Then actually this looks pretty good. Like, you know, all these kind of things are very notable when I was building this, and very noticeable when I was building this. And but still, I did enjoy this build so much. And I really think I want to go back and do some more of these one-off builds at some point. And I'm really curious, because I can still imagine that this video will be very unsuccessful in terms of YouTube, simply because Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster at the moment are, in terms of YouTube, pretty much non-existent, and the views I will get on this will be my core community. So you guys, I really owe you guys a lot. You are the man and woman and whatever, okay? You are those existing human beings, okay? Oh god, this is just whatever. No, thank you guys so much, and I just enjoy it, and this is like kind of the future of this channel. I want to explore more stuff that I just enjoy, and so I can already tell you that my secret project, which I'm working on for like a few months now, and many of you have heard of it already, but it will be released next weekend, and I'm really curious if that will work out. I really hope I can stick to it, and I will not have to postpone it one more week. We're nearly there, but this is something completely different, and I will also put some ad money on it to make sure it hopefully gets a little bit more of attention. I'm also planning to get some people involved, just to make sure that we have a bit of a reach in this video, because I really worked my camel butt off the last couple of months, and I really hope you guys are excited for it. So make sure to mark next Saturday. This will be eventually the time where I will drop it, and I'm really looking forward to that, guys. I can't stress how much I do. But yeah, now I won't talk you through until the very end of this episode, because this is now a lot of scenery builds. There will be a POV at the end of this video, but I will end this commentary with a question. I really want to know, what is your most favorite nostalgia game? I mean, I asked you at the beginning, what is your coaster game? But now, let me know, what is your game of your childhood? What is your go-to game when you say, yeah, that's what brought me into gaming? This is what makes me the person I am right now. Okay, that might go a little bit too far, but you know, what is this defining game that made you enjoy gaming so much that you do right now? I would love to hear that, so let me know in the comments down below, and I hope to see you there. I'll be there commenting and answering your stuff. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did enjoy, make sure to, subscribe if you like the content to see more, and also like it if you liked it. Kind of, shows that you liked it. Whatever. Have a good time. Stay safe, everyone, in these weird times, and I hope you enjoyed this little bit of coaster madness. Good. Enjoy the POV later. Have an awesome time, guys, and goodbye. By the way, Sneaky Rudy here. The comparison video will also drop, obviously, this weekend. I obviously totally forgot to mention that, and yeah, you guys will definitely have a comparison video between the RCT3 version and this version. So I hope you enjoy it and have a good time.